baby. You were going to say something. What were you going to say?
So you don't have.
I don't have what. I'm listening. You speak with your full mouth now.
I was going to say. Don't worry. As the day hot. As the day hot. You didn't let me speak.
I did. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Welcome to week 7.
Yes.
Every week, back to back was a hit. This is week 7. We are live every Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. West African Time.
Yep.
Those are the times that are important right now.
What happened to PST?
I can't make it.
CST.
If you're in any other time zone, let us know in the comment section, and we will acknowledge your time zone. But thank you to, like we said before, we're going to start to do a giveaway for our active family members. I don't know where we're going to start to, and we are giving dollars. It might be $5, it might be $10, but it's still dollars, because we have to be humble in our starting. You understand? We are not Tonto DK, Tacha, Davido. No, we are not those type. So we are going to start humble. So $10 in any currency, $20. We are going to start something. Or
we are on mute.
I've unmuted her.
Sorry, you already added the currency. Which one is $10 in any currency? I don't understand. Dollars is already there. A tenner.
We'll give them a tenner in whatever currency they want.
So if they want yen, you give them in yen.
Well, yes, now. So that we can get Lemfi or Wise to sponsor us. See you. This guy, think. They have to think.
Ah, good Lord.
Let's do quick sales, please. Can we go to sales?
Start. You can start with sales.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I want to just quickly advertise this thing I'm wearing.
Shapewear.
Yes. So you can use it to go to the gym. You can use it to chill. You just want to chill out and just be like, oh, I'm just chilling with my friends. You wear a jacket on top. Or you can just go, I went to the gym. So I've been to the gym today and I didn't bath. Sorry, I'm still fine. So there's a sale for today. It's $55 today if you buy today.
So then why is it that you look better than the girl on the ad?
You should actually use yourself as your model.
I'm telling you, why?
I need a it's money. I have to do a professional shoot for it. Give me money now. I don't have money to do a professional shoot here because then I have to buy. See,
should we do GoFundMe?
Let them first buy the one that is there first. If you use the QR code, you go straight to the website. It is mysoftShapewear.com. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Feedback is great. All right. Enough sales, because that's not anything we are doing here today. So, like I was saying before, it was a sad week for me. Because of what happened to that Arise.
Sommie.
Somtochukwu. It's just, I don't know. Okay.
It was heartbreaking. It was very heartbreaking.
Hello to our viewers in the US and around the world. I am Sommie Maduagu, coming to you from Nigeria's capital, Abuja.
Delectable, intelligent and bold are adjectives which hardly qualifies Somtochukwu Crystal Maduagu's persona. The 29-year-old barrister first graced Arise News screen as a guest when she participated and won the Miss Tourism Nigeria pageant. Sommie went on to represent Nigeria at the Miss Tourism World pageant in Guangzhou, China in 2023. In September 2024, She joined the Arise News team, where she has made her voice count as a news anchor, news producer, and a reporter.
Trump announced on Saturday that India and Pakistan have agreed to a full and immediate ceasefire.
Through a blend of her legal dexterity and her reportorial vigor, Sommie advocated for out-of-school children and campaigned energetically against sexual and gender-based violence. One of her most recent coverages was the submission of memorandum for reserved seats for women's bill held on the 21st of September. There, Sommie, alongside millions of other Nigerian women, advocated for a stronger representation for Nigerian women at the National Assembly. Sommie's voice is now silent, but her spirit, passion and legacy will endure as part of our collective memory.
Properly educated and that there are less children out of school in Nigeria. From the presidential villa, Sommie Maduagu, Arise News.
Sommie's voice is now silent, but our spirit, passion and legacy will endure as part of our collective memory. Properly educated and that there are less children out of school.
Yeah. When I heard this, I was just so sad. I was so sad, honestly. I couldn't believe it. I don't know. What do you all think? And then, like, we've heard the report of how she died. So armed robbers came into her estate. They killed the gate man, and they were precision style. They were going apartment to apartment, and then she jumped off. And then in that process, obviously, she got injured. And I don't know if she died on the spot, but apparently they took her to a hospital. And something about her ID card, something about the hospital didn't just give her the care that was needed. And she died at the hospital. I don't think she died on the spot. So I don't know. What do you all think?
I don't know. For me, this is just a typical case of Nigeria not happened to you, because this is someone that was living abroad. She's schooled abroad. She's dual citizen. She's a dual citizen, UK and Nigeria, and it just puts everything into perspective, especially knowing that we just turned 65, and at this point in Nigeria's growth, quote and unquote, we can't really say that we've really come that much far from whenever we started. Because the truth is that this is how a lot of people have left countries 10 years ago, 5 years ago. It's still the same thing that's happening, that there's insecurity, there's that fear of you not being treated properly when you're going to the hospital. Although, I mean, I've seen publications saying that the government has said that they want to know if she, because apparently maybe they said they took her to the hospital and maybe they didn't treat her on time. And, you know, there's a law against that in Nigeria. So I think they're actually challenging that and they want to speak with the hospital. And maybe that's why the hospital is saying, oh, maybe she came in, she was already responsible. But in any which case, the point here is that this is just Nigeria being Nigeria. And it's just sad because this is the reason why a lot of people have decided that, look, I don't think I want to be the next person. I don't think I want to be next. If only she could see the future and know that this kind of, because don't forget, she even lives in Abuja, and I heard that where she lives is not even like it's a posh area, it's a nice area. So this is not someone that was even living in trenches that you say, oh, she was attacked. This is someone that was attacked in her house. And this is just the story of Nigeria, the story of insecurity. And every day, I mean, on October 1st is one of the prayers I prayed that, and I was praying and hoping that I prayed Nigeria actually gets better after all this, because we can't continue like this. But the thing is that unless people actually start speaking up and saying, look, enough is enough, we are not going to allow this. But how do we start that? We need to start that movement of not agreeing, not kamagba. Let me say it in Yoruba. Let's not agree. Because honestly, it's just, I don't think she's just maybe in her 20s. Her life just snuffed out because she was avoiding armed bandits. It's very, very sad and it's pathetic.
So I want to say, like, so I was at the ER recently here in Canada. My first time experiencing Canadian health system. Never had to use it before. This was my first time. And it took us, I would say, it took us 2 days to actually get a bed in the hospital. But We were in the emergency section of the hospital. It took them 10 minutes. When we got in, it took them 10 minutes to put this person on the drip. It took them, I'll say 15, 20 minutes to take the blood pressure, the 20, 30 minutes, they knew the vitals of the person, right? I would say within 30, 45 minutes, we had a doctor come round to do the rounds, to ask questions, to get a feel, to basically put you in a state where you're comfortable enough before they know the specialist that they need to bring in. You know what I mean? So I say this to say our emergency care in Nigeria, can it really address emergencies?
It can. This is, I mean, I if you want to give, you can't even compare the the Canadian healthcare and the Nigerian. See, for me personally, I think the Nigerian healthcare system is far better
It's
because
far
in
better.
yes. Now let me tell you something. When I was in Nigeria, I had private healthcare. I had my private card. I used to get deducted. It wasn't that much every month from, I mean, as long as you have a job, you get deductions. So if my kids, because Nigeria, your children with malaria, all those things, when I go to the hospital, I'm taking my kids to the hospital, it doesn't take them long before they see my kids. It doesn't take,
But Tolu, you have a job. I mean, how can you compare a
now here,
system
now
that is healthcare that is free
so
for
let me tell you the
everybody?
difference between Nigeria and Canada. In Canada, the only thing that's saving Canada is working clinics. That's the only thing that's saving Canada. If you're going to a proper hospital, yes. If you're going to a proper hospital, you say you spend 2 days. Yes, I've been here with the hospital with someone also, and we spent 24 hours, and he was bleeding. The only thing that just saved us was that, the paramedics had come to the house to stitch up a little. We were there for 24 hours before it. So, but the thing about Canadian hospitals is that they believe in when they take you in, they take is end to end, so they're going to finish with you before they look at another person. So I'm guessing that, of course, there's a shortage of doctors. But me personally, I feel that if we're in Nigeria, they would have taken care of this person quicker. We have good doctors in Nigeria. It's just that the system is not allowing them to thrive. Most of them, they'll rather open their private practice where those health cards, you can't use it. Because those health cards, we use regular hospitals that are not so expensive. They won't use those big ones in Lekki and Co. So you can only go to the less cheaper ones. But still, you still get adequate care. I know how many times I've taken my son to the hospital here, and they'll tell me, oh, just go home. Let him drink some water and some Tylenol. There was one day I went to the hospital after 3 days and he wasn't getting better. He was running temperature. I went to the hospital the third day. I screamed and I cried. I said, look, I am not going home with this boy because there's something wrong with him. The doctor now says, it was a working clinic. Do you want your money back? Because you have to pay a consultation fee. If you don't have, then I didn't have the OHIP card. He said, do you want your refund back? I said, it's not about refund. There's something wrong with this boy. The doctor now said, hold on a second. He now went and checks in his ear and he sees there's bacteria forming and it's already out in his ear. So for the bacteria to have formed, it should show you how long this thing has been building up. What would have stopped him from the first day? They now told me I should go to the medical lab and go and take his blood tests. Then they'll send the result the next day. And I'm like, so it took me to cry. I had to cry for people to actually do this. So the healthcare system in Canada for me is messed up. Everybody knows that. America, London, they're on a better this thing compared to Canada. Yes, American healthcare is expensive. Canadian free for us. We don't pay. Yes.
Okay, let me chime in here real quick. Let me chime in here real quick so that we're not getting ahead of ourselves, okay? So the reason why it happens in the UK, this same experience you guys have, the reason why, unless it's a matter of life or death, the doctors are not so quick to make a judgment call. They will want to run their tests. They want to know they want to feel the pulse of what exactly the patient is going through. So that's why it seems like it is slow. That's why it seems like, whatever you're going through, and even if you are dying, it feels as if they are not answering you. But these people don't just make a judgment call and say, oh, it's malaria, oh, it's typhoid, like what we get back home in Nigeria. In Nigeria, they're always too hasty to make a judgment call. And in most cases, those diagnoses are 100% wrong. And then so what you find is that they start to treat people for something that they don't have. And then down the line, when they start to run their proper tests, they come to the conclusion that, oh, we made a wrong diagnosis. And you have seen cases where you've read it. It goes viral every time, where people come out and say they killed my mother, or they killed my sister. This hospital, because of wrong diagnosis.
I want to just ask something.
True.
If Sommie had this accident in the US, the UK, Canada, would she have lived?
Most likely.
Probably.
Because let me tell you, because they're emergency
how can you open your mouth and say the system, the Canadian system is worse than Nigeria? And then, like,
let me tell you what is unfortunate is, because you have a job back home in Nigeria and you can get healthcare.
That's why
what is the percentage of people? What is the percentage of people that can actually get that healthcare that you were able to get? So in comparison, when you want to compare, I want us to compare wholesome. Don't pick and choose where you say, oh, maybe the doctor responded to you under 10 minutes when you're in Lagos, but when you're here, it was 24 hours. No, let it be a wholesome overview. When you go to the hospital in Nigeria, yes, people will say, oh, because they want to take your money from you. They don't run the proper test. They don't do the... And then
what I was going to say. So in total, I think we spent like 4 days in the hospital here. We didn't spend one dime. I'll tell you, the minimum amount of tests we did was between 30 to 40.
And you and I know that that's not the case in Nigeria, because for every test there's a bill. For everywhere they send you to back home, there's a bill. At the end of the day, Tolu, you have to ask yourself, how many people can really afford this healthcare system? And that's why a lot of people go to government hospitals.
So this is why I said it's a two-edged sword. I have a friend here where I live that had a miscarriage and called the hospital that she has had a miscarriage because she's had it a couple of times. And 2 weeks, they have not called her to evacuate. In Nigeria, it cannot happen. In Nigeria, if someone has a miscarriage, they've admitted you in the hospital. But here, it's to them.
So the question to you,
I want to land somewhere. So now you've made a point that unless it's something serious, that is when in Canada, that's when they actually take you serious. I have a colleague that I work with in the office, a white colleague for that matter, that had called them to call 911 or whatever, to them that she was having pains. They took her to the hospital. They left her there. They checked her blood pressure, everything. They kept up. The paramedics, she told me the paramedics came back like 4 or 5 times with other people. And they kept saying, oh, you're still here. Because they didn't think it was serious. Guess what? She had a stroke. They didn't know she was having a stroke as she was sitting there. One side of her face was... And she had it happened inside the hospital.
Tolu, it could be that you people's hospital is bad, though.
But wait, what Tolu doesn't understand? No.
About that.
Tolu, but you know that the hospitals you are dealing with are likened to the government hospitals back home. Those are not private hospitals.
Exactly.
If you have money here in Canada, pay for private hospitals.
Where are they? They don't have private hospitals. Well, where I live, they don't have private hospitals.
I mean, no. So
I've actually asked.
There are some privately owned. So when they say privately owned, they're still working with the government. Like where Shenwon works, for instance, it's not a fully owned government institution.
Where I work too, it's not a fully owned, but that's the main hospital here.
So look, I'm telling you that personally, this was my first time in an emergency room. I saw the way people were dealt with. There was. We got into the emergency room at 2 a.m.
hours to admit you and to admit the person.
No. They did not take us 24 hours to admit us. I'm telling you that they get to give us a bed in the nice part of the hospital.
You get a bed. But in Nigeria, you have to a bed 2 hours later.
No, Tolu, listen. We had a bed, but we had a bed in the emergency room part of the hospital.
Tolu with Nigeria. Tolu with Nigeria.
Tolu didn't give us a bed in the recovery part of the hospital. We had a room.
With Nigeria, it's cash and carry. We all know this. And I keep saying to you that how many people can afford this cash and carry type of healthcare
because
system?
The truth is, let me tell you.
How many?
This is why someone like Sommie, they will say, where's your ID card? It's because of this cash and carry the person is talking about. Because you and I know that they will not hesitate to, yes, when you go to the Canadian hospitals, they will ask you for your health card. But they will not say if you are in a dire mode, like how Sommie was when they took her to the hospital, they will not treat you. It's not possible. It's not possible.
But the truth is that the government has actually banned that practice.
So look, how many times do you have things on paper in Nigeria that in reality is not the case? Do you want me to list most of what they have as policies on paper that in reality is not the case?
That is why the first thing I said was, may Nigeria not happen to you. It's just unfortunate.
I think we should even stop saying may Nigeria not happen to you.
No, may Nigeria not happen to you.
I like to read comments. I would like to read a few comments that we just got. So someone says, aren't you supposed to go to the ER if you have a miscarriage?
She did.
You don't call the hospital.
They sent her back home. They said they will contact her. Hey, Jesus is Lord. They said they will contact her. That is not serious.
Then someone else says UK people have left this convo because everybody's complaining about the NHS in the UK as well.
Generally, the medical field, because let me tell you, a lot of people do not want to go through the stress of going 7-8 years in medical school when you can stay on Instagram or go on Twitch and you are streaming like Kai Sanat, and before you know it, you're a billionaire. It's the truth. The next generation of people don't want to be doctors.
Yeah,
they don't, and you blame them. It's too stringent.
And don't forget, the number of people in these countries have now increased due to immigration, and then so you have less doctors, you have more people, and I still maintain that there are private hospitals. All of this NHS and this one they're all government hospitals. If you want to pay money, Tolu, and for private practice, they have them.
I'm sure you can.
Okay, you afford it. And so when you want to compare Nigerian hospitals, you are comparing your private Nigerian hospitals to the government hospitals here. I'm sorry, you can't do that.
Okay, but going away from let's move away from the hospital and how it failed her. From the report, it said the thieves were in there for 15 minutes. In fact, her neighbors didn't even know anything had happened to her until after the thieves had left, because that's when someone now saw all of that commotion. So the reaction that she had, maybe she was asleep and she woke up and she just jerked into that shock. Yes, and she just reacted. Is it possible that the thieves would have harmed her?
And in truth, and let me be honest with you, this is why I don't know how we're going to know the full story, because nobody's really going to know.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. There were over 10 armed robbers in that unit, in the whole whole unit that day, that night, and they were going door to door to rob. And then we're hearing stories afterward that they got to. I don't think Sommie will jump. I don't think you will be in shock enough to jump from your.
So you think she was pushed?
I don't know. I just seem to believe that.
Honestly,
theory.
I don't know, but I don't
personally
think
believe
that.
theory.
I honestly don't believe
It's
that.
my opinion.
She jumped. I mean, I can be in shock if armed robber enters my house, but I'm not going to go to my balcony and jump.
What's the aim of jumping?
What is the aim? Jumping to where? She was on the third floor.
Do you understand?
She was on the first floor, second floor. That you said, okay, maybe I'll survive this jump. She was on the third floor.
So this is now we're going to conspiracy theories, because
it's not conspiracy theories. Just common.
It's not. It's just, let's ask this question. Yeah. Do you think that the natural way to get out of that armed robbery was to jump out of your balcony?
I mean, some people overreact in situations.
Let me tell you something. You said the neighbors didn't know anything had happened. That means that the armed robbers were not using guns. They probably were shooting. If they're shooting, they shot. Apparently, they shot the
gate man.
The gate man.
That is probably what I hear. That's probably what got a lot of them probably on. And
but can I add that, interestingly, there have been reports of armed robbery in her area. This is not the first. So you can't say that Sommie didn't know that this was a thing in her area. Armed robbers will go and rob.
But this is a young girl who grew up in the UK. Maybe this is the first time she's encountering this kind of situation.
She didn't grow up. She didn't grow up in the
UK. I don't know if she grew up in the UK. She was in the UK for a while. But you and I know that.
But she has 2 passports, so
that's speculation as well. But
No, she
said
mentioned
she
this.
only,
I watched
no,
an
she
interview.
only said she left the UK to go back
No,
to
I watched
Nigeria
an
to make
interview
it
where
work.
she said she has dual citizenship. I watched that.
That
Oh,
means she
did.
has to have
Okay.
lived in the UK for the early part of
Yes.
her
Okay.
life.
She said
That's
it,
the
that she
only
has
way.
dual,
But
and that's why she came back. Yeah, I watched
Oh,
what
it.
I'm
okay.
trying to say is a lot of us, we've encountered a Nigeria has happened to us a couple of times where by the third, fourth time, like Dupa, remember when we were robbed
Yeah.
in
On third
Ozumba, by
mainland
the
bridge.
way?
Yeah.
You know, you've been robbed.
Wait. Sade, let me tell you one that Sade did. Hey, when Sade and I were in traffic one day on third mainland bridge, that place is coming down from Ikoyi Bridge. Armed robber now knocked on our window. My dearest sister carries shoe. Open the door.
I remember the
Started
gist.
chasing up. Hey, I've never seen in my life.
I remember.
This nonsense child wanted to give me another time. She came out, she was not chasing the guy with her shoe.
And he was running.
Wow. Of course, he ran. The guy was wondering, like, mad woman.
You see,
Normal
so
people are giving you.
the truth is, for me to get to that, let me tell you how I got to that point. I got to that point by being robbed.
The conditioning.
severally.
It was the
So
conditioning.
at that point, I don't fear again for my life. Now you are mad because we are all, let us all now be mad. So maybe this was her first encounter. And this was the first reaction that she thought to have. Maybe she just heard the gunshot and thought, they're going to kill us. Bam. I don't, you know, it's not too
I mean,
far.
I will hide in a closet. I will go under my bed. I don't think I would jump from a balcony. I'm sorry.
So, is there a consensus somewhere that there's a possibility that she didn't jump?
I want to believe she didn't.
I don't know. But I must add that I think Nigeria failed her the way Nigeria fails everybody every day. Nigeria completely failed her. This was a young girl who was, you know, just minding her business, going about her thing, trying to be she was already a lawyer, but she wanted to even practice. She was trying to advocate for, you know, for a lot of things for women, right? She was looking to go into politics. So at the end of the day, imagine having to then be a victim of armed robbery. She was living in a place where she was paying her rent. She was an upstanding citizen by every word of it. She was legit. She wasn't doing yahoo or she was, you know, doing runs, hookupians. This girl was legit working and paying her bills. And then so imagine going home where you all can attest to the fact that when you go home, it's like a place of rest for you. You know, it's a place of solitude. It should be. You know, so you're in your home. She wasn't on the road like Shadia and I at 2 a.m. on Ozumba Mbadiwe and getting robbed.
Coming back from Big Brother party.
We were coming back from one Big Brother party they had, and they robbed us in VI. That's different. We'll say, okay, we exposed ourselves. This girl was in the confines of her home, and then she still lost her life. It's unfortunate. It is rather unfortunate. And Abuja, of all places, and I hear it's now a mess in Abuja with armed robbery. I hear Abuja is no longer safe.
Yep.
So you can imagine if Abuja, the seat of power, is not safe. I mean, what happens to every? Think about everybody else.
What is Wike doing, other than messing with River State politics? What's Wike doing?
And commissioning.
Don't they have two people in charge of Abuja?
He's the minister. Everybody else reports to him.
So what's he doing?
He's commissioning street lights, commissioning solar power in Aso Rock. Wike, unfortunately, Shade, unless you have leaders who have empathy. Leaders who have empathy understand that they need to serve their people, will show up for the people. Yeah. What we have are a band of robbers, disguised also as businessmen / politicians. They're not leaders. So unfortunately, Sommie, another 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you and I know that is back to normal. People will move on. No, but all the conversations of the police will investigate, they will get the perpetrators, they will get... Sorry. Boom, we're done. That's all. And she has died a needless death. I mean, this girl didn't have any business dying the way she died. No business at all. Armed robbery. And then you get to the hospital says, go and bring... What is your duty to somebody? Isn't it to save lives first? You are asking for ID card. Are you a policeman? You in the hospital, are you a policeman?
I honestly believe that even if they had an ID card, I don't.
They still would not have treated her.
I don't think they have the capacity to have been able to even treat her in that kind of moment. That was
Exactly.
where I was.
Because there were reports that this girl was unconscious. She was still unconscious when she got to the hospital.
There's a level, and it's not even about skill. Yes, you can have skill. If you don't have the equipment, there's nothing your skill can do. And a lot of hospitals in Nigeria do not have these equipments, or they keep it inside somebody's office, and that place is locked because they're scared of someone stealing it. We know how this thing goes now. And that's why I always tell people, when people are always talking about, there's so much money to be made in Nigeria. Until Nigeria happens to you, now realize that this money that you're making, there's nothing happening there.
So even our last trip to Nigeria this year, remember, we were very conscious about not staying out late. Yes. We were very conscious about getting back to the Airbnb at a particular time. We're always very conscious to not be on the mainland up until certain, because you just don't know. Honestly, you can't just be there and say, okay, I'm feeling myself.
Nigeria has happened to everybody. It has happened to me too. I've entered one chance that they almost finished me, collected everything I had. They're not telling me to tell them thank you for giving me 100 naira to enter Okada back.
I said, the time I was on the call with one guy, there was one guy one time we were just chatting one time. The guy called me around 11:30. He was coming back from the gym. We were gisting. And I said, I'm going to stop at GTB ATM. He got to GTB ATM. On the phone with me, they picked him up from there. Thief picked him up from there. They told him, remove everything from your account. They took him because they said he has taken enough for the day. They wanted to wait for the day to pass. They took him to the mainland. I was on the phone with this boy as this thing was happening. Imagine how traumatized.
Have you forgotten our friend that they kidnapped her parents?
There's someone whose story I heard recently. This girl, she does food delivery, that Lekki access. So she had called her Uber, and then so they were going to deliver to 3 clients. She went to the first one. By the time she was going to the second one, the Uber man was like, "Oh no, I'm not going. You have to drop, call another." This is around 7 p.m. or Lekki access. So at 7 p.m. at night on a Sunday. "Oh no, calm down." And then he goes, so I feel like some of those Uber drivers are also in cahoots with, these armed robbers. So the guy parks at on some random road. I said, calm down. She carried her food. Before she could say A to bring her phone to call another Uber, she saw this black SUV. The guys came down, launched something over her head, like they covered her, and they threw her in the rest they say is history. Plus food, though, all the money in her account, so everything wiped. This is Lekki access, so gone. Unfortunately.
But yet, Tinubu said we should not.
He says don't demarket.
Don't demarket Nigeria.
Yes, he said we should come back.
He said we should come back.
He
It's not me he was talking to. It was you, Tolu.
He said we should come back.
It can't be me. He doesn't know me. It was you he was talking to.
If you hear some stories, Shade, there's a girl I know as well. She put it on Facebook. She was going to Ireland from the mainland, that's Maryland area. So she saw this car, all these cars. I was saying, oh, Obalende or something, CMS, Obalende, CMS. And she was like, oh, 7 a.m. She rushed, she entered. As soon as she entered, she realized it was one chance. It was only guys. There was no woman in the car. Then they stripped her naked. They started to hit her and beat her and told her to call her contacts that 2 million must drop. For somebody who is entering this kind of, where would 2 million come out from? They had POS. And this is it's a failure of a system, because POSs are usually registered to somebody or to somewhere. So they still, and you can't nab these people even through those POSs. So they had the POS, they took all the money. She had maybe 50K in her account or 70K. They took the money from her, and then they told her to call her contacts, all the people she was calling on a weekday morning. Nigeria now, you are trying to get to work, everybody's trying to hustle. Those who don't have work are sleeping. You know what I mean? Nobody picked. They were beaten. This girl was naked. She didn't even think about her nakedness, because she was at that point, this is matter of life or death. In her head, she thought she was going to die. Then she started praying. She said she was praying out loud. They were beating her. She was praying out, so she stopped praying out loud because she realized that was triggering for them. The driver at some point now said, I make her drop her in a bad market. One of the guys that said, no, after all this work, what we don't do, we don't go fit, so that 2 million must drop. Do you know that they beat this girl to this girl said blood. She could, she didn't even feel the pain. She was just thinking about her life. Eventually, they had to drop her naked. They didn't even let her dress up in the car. They threw her out with her clothes naked. Wherever they threw her on the mainland, one elderly woman now, so she knew, because I'm sure they see these things often. She helped her, dressed her, gave her phone. They're taking her phone, dressed her up and then covered her and told her whatever.
This is something that can never happen in Canada, Tolu.
Whatever number you have, call this number. She called somebody, they picked her. Till today, Tolu, this girl is still traumatized because you and I know that we don't even have the facilities that you can go to say, okay, I'm experiencing this sort of trauma and I need help. We don't have such facilities unless you have money. They have those private ones, but you will pay. Trauma, Tolu. Nigeria happens. Let me tell you why it's because Sommie is getting this sort of
attention
because of where she works, who she is. Do you know how many people go through what Sommie goes through every time?
Or the gate man that lost his life.
Or the gate man that lost his life.
He was blatantly just murdered.
That's it.
He was the target. Like they knew they had to take him out. They took him out. Done.
So what are we saying? Every single time one Nigerian or the other is going through this sort of ordeal.
See, the truth is, I would take a system that you say the healthcare isn't perfect, but at least they give me 95% security. I'll take that system over in Nigeria. I'm sorry. Because I always tell people, see, I was making money when I was in Nigeria. I did very well in Nigeria. I came and I started from scratch.
But then you and I will sit in traffic. We'll sit in traffic for long hours because I'm trying to get to a destination that shouldn't take us 10 to 15 minutes. We'll be in traffic for hours.
I want to talk. Really? Coming from you sitting in where? Calgary, that to get downtown is 30 minutes.
But that means there's no traffic.
It's a 7-minute drive, so please don't.
But Tolu, we drive. Tolu, we drive.
You live in a village.
Tolu, we drive to downtown.
I live in a city.
Tolu, we drive to downtown without traffic for 30 minutes. I'll take that over sitting in traffic for 2 hours because I want to get from Ikoyi to Lekki.
You don't understand that. I don't even drive. I take the bus. But the bus is going to give me the time when the bus is. I don't like to drive. I like public transport. Imagine me taking public transport in Nigeria. What do I want my life to be when I reach my destination?
You can't. But no, Sawaluna has Blue Rail, Shade.
You and who Blue Rail?
Yeah.
Between Blue Rail from where to you.
No. Leave that one. It's my people that were on that project, please.
He has Blue Rail and Red Rail.
Yeah, and they have other ones that are coming up very soon. So.
Please, you know what? I can't even go into this because I can't believe we talk about Blue Rail here when people are getting robbed and people are getting killed. But I'm about Blue Rail. What? You know what? Let's leave it.
Okay, but I'm just gonna say that you're right. May Nigeria not happen to us because until it hits close to home before we can really understand the magnitude of the problems we are facing as a people and as a country. Right now, it's still like, oh, it's happening to them. You know what? It's happening to them. We don't really know them.
Anybody.
It can happen to
anybody. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are in Nigeria. This can happen to you.
I know someone who went to the hospital as a child because had a fever, got to the hospital, gave them injection, and this is the thing I'm telling you, Tolu, without proper diagnosis. She's running temperature. This person is running temperature, and this temperature is bad. Next thing, you gave the person injection on a Saturday. On a Monday, this person could not walk. What I'm telling you is that I'd rather be in a system where they take their time to understand what the problem is than a system where it's so hasty and then they damage you for the long term. It's irreparable. That's not being able to walk now. The person cannot, there's no U-turn from it because of injection or because she had fever and because you're trying to get the fever down.
Meanwhile, maybe it's just paracetamol she would have taken.
Something.
I like your analysis, but this is a gray area. So you have experienced the bad, or whoever has experienced the dark side. I've experienced the better side because I've never had any bad experience going to the hospital for myself. I've had 2 surgeries in Nigeria.
Why did you give birth to your children in Nigeria?
So why did you stay in Nigeria?
No, I didn't give birth to my children in Nigeria because I wanted them to have that future
flexibility.
Because I don't know where Nigeria will be headed in 20 years' time. So I want them to let them not be stuck in Nigeria. That's the only reason why.
Okay. So why did you stay in Nigeria? The healthcare is so good.
Now, so good. I stay in Nigeria because of the insecurity. I said they're always robbing me. I lived in Ogudu. I work in Lekki. I work in VI. Driving on the bridge every day. That alone, I used to get robbed almost every day. They used to knock on my window almost every day. When I go to work, I don't wear. I look.
You need to share your picture in a WhatsApp group.
It's painful. It's very
Charlie, do you know, I had this family friend. He was ill. They took him to this first hospital. Oh, no bed space, no bed space, no bed space. They rushed him to a second hospital. Oh, we don't have no doctor, no doctor, no doctor. By the time he got to the third one, he was pronounced dead on arrival. This was some years ago. What sort of system is this, Tolu? All the examples you gave me in Canada, none has led to death. Only that they refused them. You haven't really said, oh, they refused this person, the person died. In Nigeria, they will refuse you until the person dies.
like Richard said, it's critical, it's triage. They take the critical cases on first. I think Shade mentioned it. So that's fair enough. I'm not going to argue that.
I saw a hospital in Katsina, Shade, only spring, no bed, no foam. Spring, and people laid on this spring and they were being treated in Katsina. A hospital, a general hospital. You can't find that here in a general hospital. I remember when I was supposed to do my fibroid surgery here in Fairness in Winnipeg. The day I went, the day they gave me the date and time, I got there, they told me there was no bed space, and I went back home. My fibroid surgery was not a do or die. I wasn't going to die. So they were able to send me back home. And I went back the next day. They asked me to come back next day, and I had a non-invasive surgery. So do you know how much people pay for a non-invasive surgery in Nigeria?
And
how many people can afford it?
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Shade, the food was like hotel food. How many people can afford it? They put me on pain meds that all I needed to do was just press the pump. It goes through my IV. How many people can afford non-invasive surgeries? People still do proper surgeries in Nigeria for fibroid and they cut them open.
Yes, no. When I did my fibroid, I don't think I spent less than 10 million altogether. They said that by the time I finished the surgery, they said you lost blood and we had to give you 4 pints of blood. So your money now is So
imagine that.
Upon
how many people can afford it
for this blood?
Think about it. How many people can really afford that kind of cost?
Shout out to Dr. Ojuku. He gave me payment plan.
I don't know, Sha. When I did 2 surgeries I ever did, I did them in UCH, and I got
Tolu, stop this thing. Tolu, UCH. We have family members in UCH. Stop.
So maybe I'm biased.
You're not speaking objectively.
Yes, maybe I'm not. But UCH is a government hospital, and they treated me there very well.
I couldn't go to UCH because I was in like an emergency situation, so I couldn't have gone to Ibadan. I had to stay in Lagos. I had to find a place in Lekki, and luckily I was able to find Dr. Ojuku, late Ojuku's son. He was the one, and he was expensive, but he was very good. But I had to cough out the money. It was cash and carry. He gave me a family discount because apparently he knows my Uncle JJ. But I had to pay, and it was same fibroid. I took it for free in cash.
I didn't pay a dime, and it was non-invasive. A dime. So, I mean, let me just read this comment quickly. So,
the system failed.
Flex says, how do we help from here so that Nigeria does not happen to us?
So, let me say
have
something.
Family and friends.
So let me say something, first of all. We have to, and this was something I learned before I moved to Canada, something I started learning in Nigeria. You have to learn how to have a baseline reaction to things happening to you in Nigeria. Now, I know I'm not, again, don't get me wrong. It's like I'm not saying that there's some situations where like you enter what's it called? One chance. What I'm saying is you have to start to train yourself on how do I react in a neutral way so that I don't overreact, underreact. For me, what that helped me to do was it helped me to start to help reevaluate the situation as it was happening. Now let me give you an example. I was being robbed. I've been robbed a lot of time, just like Tolu mentioned. I've also been robbed a lot of time. By the time I was robbed on the beach near my house. I was taking a jog. And I stopped to take a breath. I was like, and I had my phone in those things that you put on your arm. And while I was there, the guy was doing, I just saw the guy coming. And at that point, normally I might have just reacted and maybe started, I just calmly just I saw them coming, two of them. I already knew what they were trying to do. It was like they were trying to beg for money and trying to rob me. I just paced myself at that point and I breathed. And of course, he came close and started trying to remove it from my hand. At that point, because of the way I've been training myself, I allowed him to take the phone. Because in the end,
What
if he had a knife?
Exactly.
And again, there were two of them, young boys. What if he had a knife? Don't get me wrong, I didn't not try to stop him from taking it, but as he was running with the phone, I could still hear the music in my Bluetooth in my ear. I did not chase him, unlike that day on the Third Mainland Bridge that I chased him. I had to reevaluate how I respond to things happening to me. That's what that is. Again, if we're not going to go by the conspiracy of what we're saying, if we're saying that she actually jumped, we have to start to learn how to train ourselves with good and bad. Anything that happens to you in Nigeria, you have to, I don't know. This is something that has worked and really, I don't know.
Anyway, I think to answer Flix 1014, I think I will say that unless there needs to be an overhaul of that system, because the only reason why we have crime rates so high is because, unlike where you are in the Western world, you can go to work, even if it's minimum wage you earn. You can earn something, you will pay your bills, and you will turn on your lights, you'll have power, you turn on your taps, water will come out. It is decent, right? You work, you pay your bills, and you see what you're paying for. Back home, there is no work. I mean, you can considerably ask yourself how many jobs are out there for young people to work, right? So there are no longer enough jobs in the system. And it doesn't have to be blue-collar jobs. So not everybody went to school, has an education, you know what, a master's degree. No. But here, even if I did not go to school, I will still be able, even for the college I finished or high school, I will still find job in your Starbucks, your McDonald's, your Tim Hortons. That is not the case with Nigeria. So unless unless leadership also changes and reevaluates itself, we're going to still keep coming back to crime, where people need to hustle, Shade, at any cost to put food on their table for that day. See people looking for kidnapping now. You see the business of kidnapping, Shade. In fact, I feel like if I can kidnap and I get 2 million today, why do I want to do 9 to 5? If I can kidnap tomorrow, imagine I kidnap 3 people and I ask you people, the family members, to donate to 2 million. Why do I want to work a 9 to 5? Why do I even want to hustle to look for? Bear in mind, the 9 to 5 doesn't even exist. It's not there. So that is why that's business. It's an industry now that it is buoyant. I can kidnap, make money, and keep my life moving. But unfortunately, every time this happens, I don't even see where they say, oh, we caught the kidnappers. Oh, we're able to get to them. Oh, we arrested. Nothing. People keep paying money. People keep paying money. Their kidnapping industry keeps getting buoyant, and we move on. So unless and this is largely a leadership failure, unless leadership changes, unless Nigerians can, for themselves, I mean, we can compare ourselves to countries. Let's leave Canada, UK. Look at African countries in fact, stick to West Africa. I don't even want us to go to South Africa, East Africa. Let's stick to West Africa. Shadi and I lived in Benin Republic for a year. You cannot compare Benin Republic to Nigeria.
Even Togo with their dictator president.
Even Togo. There was a day they stopped us on the road, the police. I didn't remember. And it was 4 of us, we're 4 friends. And he took us to the station. We didn't go into the police station.
We were in the compound.
We were in the compound we didn't even see the inside of the police station. Then he said,
because we didn't have ID card. We couldn't
verify our application. 2 people didn't have. You and I didn't have. The other 2 had, right? And they just said to them, they said, go and get their own ID cards. When you bring it, and then you can all go home. And I think one of them went home, went to the apartment, got our ID cards, came back, showed the police guy, and he told us we should always have our ID cards on us. And then, you know what I mean? And he was like, thank you. And we went home. Shade, there was no trying to extort us. There was no trying to
there was even no intimidation.
no intimidation.
I remember very
nothing.
clearly. I don't remember so much, but I remember clearly sitting down and just chilling. There wasn't any fear.
He was gisting with us.
Yeah, there wasn't any fear. And we were in the police station, but there was no fear. There was no. It's such a great. And that's I just realized we had a police experience, but it was not a traumatic police experience.
But imagine now, think about if that was Nigerian police. Shade, we've dealt with Nigerian police as well.
My God.
This Benenoir, the policeman, his shoes were clean, his uniform was neat.
And this was around 11 p.m.
Yes, he wasn't reeking of alcohol. You could tell that he was decent. So that's what I'm saying. Before we start to even compare Nigeria to US, let us even look at our brothers that are around us in Africa. Let's start from there. And then maybe we can then continue. We can now say, okay, fundamentally, something needs to change as a people. So honestly, it's a failure of a lot of things. And unless those things, there's an overhaul or everybody now in Nigeria is a hustler. Everybody wants to hustle.
If you are Nigerian, you can find a way to leave Nigeria, leave. That's all I can tell anybody. Legally, because you cannot enjoy life as illegal in a lot of countries now, thanks to everything. But
now it's changed. Things have changed.
Explore Australia, explore other African countries.
I don't think Nigeria is ready to be different from what it is now. We've not gotten to that point where, because don't forget, this person was living abroad and came back to Nigeria. So it's not like she didn't have the opportunity, but she wanted to go back home and make a change, which is what a lot of people are trying to do. Yeah. But at this point, I don't even think we're ready for that change yet. That is why we have so many people still fighting.
So the problem with change is, Tolu, if it doesn't start from the top, you are wasting your time at the bottom.
Well, no, I don't really agree with that.
No, let me tell you why. It is a dysfunction. It's a cycle. So it's a dysfunction from the top. As long as the top remains what it is hard for you.
I understand your point.
Fight change.
I don't necessarily agree with that, because we've seen cases where if people start revolting, there can actually be a change. But that's why I said we are not ready for that change yet.
Who wants to revolt? The average Nigerian wants to go to a bar and order star
and do
and pepper soup.
So that's what I mean.
So understand.
Actually say, you know what, we're not going to agree for this. Or government, we are striking. You can't enter your office.
Especially what happened October 25th. What happened? What was that date?
Oh, for NSAS
2020. So,
exactly. So when people now remember things like that, people will be like, so that what?
But did you notice that even with NSAS, when people started to die, it was a game changer. Nigerians
we're not ready, Sha.
We're not. Nigerians don't want to die. Nigerians are not ready to die for Nigeria, and I don't expect anybody to die for Nigeria.
I can't advise anybody. Like I said, my advice for Nigerians: if you are watching this, look for a legal way to relocate out of Nigeria. Explore other African countries. Explore small Caribbean countries. Explore. If you have money to put out for masters, look for extra money. Go and buy citizenship. There are ways now.
I'm telling you.
Dubai has way where you can buy a property and you Don't look at US, UK, Canada as your only options. There are other options. Other African countries will give you peace of mind.
Exactly.
I'm telling you. And from there, when you become a resident, you can even.
But Shadow, now, if Canada didn't even happen for me, I was going to Ghana.
Yes, we were going to Ghana.
Yes, that was it. It wasn't a matter of, I must go to Canada. Ghana was prime.
I would have been chopping, dating December money, planning things for African America.
Things for African countries. There's Rwanda, there's Kenya, there's Uganda. South Africa has its own issues with Nigerians, but I'm just saying, there are countries that you can look at. It doesn't have to be US, UK, Canada.
Yep. That's my advice. Well, it's 4:58. So I want to go and eat jollof rice from Mommy's Kitchen. Mommy's Kitchen. If you don't know Mommy's Kitchen, check it out. It's the best food here in Toronto.
And now we can't relate. We cook our own jollof rice. I'm about to go.
I'm sorry, I don't cook. I'm sorry. I have a man who cooks for me, so
Whatever.
I don't have to cook. I haven't cooked anything in like 2 years.
So I wanted to say that. Sorry, I didn't join last week. I really have to apologize.
Because I had one of your fans asking after you. I was like, oh, why is he lad?
But it's not going to happen again. I'm back and better. And thank you guys for reaching out to me and calling me like 10 times. I'm truly sorry. It won't happen.
Actually, let me tell you, Tolu, we actually missed you because you see, it was when you were away we realized that your voice is very different. So you always have a different perspective, which is always just I didn't realize
like how you told us now Nigeria hospital is better than Canadian hospital. Who says that?
Yeah,
it says the person who's living in Canada. What do they go back to Nigeria if the hospital is good?
Yesterday I saw her carrying flag. Nigeria. I said, Tolu, why are you here? Tolu, why are you here?
I bleed green and white.
But you're bleeding it in red and red.
Hey, red and white. Tolu, please go back home. Go and make it work.
But anyway, so this week's show was produced by Hilad.
I don't see what Tolu produced though.
Tolu produced.
When you didn't log in yesterday, how do you see it? How do you see it?
All right, so this time we'll be back this time next week. And we have a lot of stories. We have so many things. Send us messages if you want to be a part of the show.
That's why we didn't have one today, but I mean, I'm happy that we are able to address this and in honor of some.
Yeah, so this episode is dedicated to Tochukwu
Madwagu.
May your soul rest in peace. I hope that wherever she is, she has peace.
Yes,
and I hope her family to also have peace.
And her friends, her colleagues at Arise News. Honestly, I can't imagine what they're going through because it was such a needless death. But it's what it is.
Our love, our hugs to everyone who is going through this. Please keep yourself safe.
Yeah.
Your eye, calm down.
Pepper spray.
Exactly. If you don't need to go out, don't go anywhere. Dirty December is coming. Stay clean. You know what I mean? Just be wary. Outside is not outside.
Unfortunately, Sommie
was
not
not
smiling.
home.
She was living at home. Exactly.
That's it. Sometimes we say don't go outside because phone. Hey.
Plus outside, plus inside, everywhere is janjalos.
I agree.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Bye. Bye. Like James says, bye.